Coronavirus.
Of COVID-19.
Corona Pandemie.
Coronavirus.
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 Coronavirus. Coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Everyone has been asking the same question. I know I have. How bad is the pandemic going to be? And there's all this data flying at us from all over the place. There are a million different variables, and just about the worst person possible is running the country. So as I spend all my day reading and texting and talking to experts and to sources about this crisis, I find myself mentally putting things into two buckets: the good news and the bad news, as a sort of framework when thinking about this whole thing. So tonight, we'll start with the good news.
The pandemic we are experiencing has had several consequences. Perhaps the most obvious has been that the streets have suddenly emptied, and where there used to be crowds before, there are now desert asphalts. For this reason, pollution has been reduced considerably during the 3 months that the streets have been uninhabited. As a direct consequence of this, all kinds of animals have made themselves visible by not feeling threatened by human beings, and they walk freely around places that once were unthinkable. Being isolated has forced many of us to reflect, especially when we witness the result of our absence. For example, many have empathized with animals since they have been in the same situation as those animals. However, not only have we reflected, but we have also learned to adapt and reinvent ourselves. For example, transferring work out to our homes. Also, we have had time for ourselves and for our beloved ones. Or not just for them. We have related to those who previously went unnoticed, and we have enjoyed sharing those moments. The solidarity of many has been multiplied in times of need, starting with the daily applause to the people working in healthcare on the balconies of millions of people, which have been the reflection of a social awareness. This in turn has led to numerous donations and grants. And finally, we have assumed that we must incorporate much more prudent attitudes in our daily basis. But will these new positive changes continue after the quarantine ends? The truth is that it does not seem that it will be like this in general, since as the big factories open their doors and thousands of workers drive their cars to them, everything we have gained about pollution is being lost in a matter of days. On the other hand, when it seemed that we had begun to empathize with the animals, we again forget about them and recover the old customs. Likewise, the prudence that many of us had acquired disappears at the moment when the masses reappear. we forget that hygiene is a priority and safety distances are no longer respected. In short, seeing ourselves trapped and isolated in our homes did not turn out to be as bad as we thought, as it led us to realize that we could do things much better than we were doing. However, when we have had the opportunity to change our lifestyle, we have preferred to continue with the one we had, even despite our detriment. But since we have started with good news, I want to end this reflection with another one. I really believe that this crisis has helped some people to change their way of seeing the world, to make their habits healthier both for themselves and for the planet, and to empathize with the most defenseless, even if only to a certain extent. And for that alone, it has already been worth it. The actions of a single person at a certain time are what initiate any change on a large scale.